Damn it.
Can you see it?
Okay. Oh, the slow-mo is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's the best slow-mo we've ever gotten.
Wow. We're gonna check some holes today in this mine in Nevada. We're gonna test some Raumer bolts. We're gonna pull them in shear, potentially in tension if our ground anchor works over there. Yeah, it didn't. I can't believe this bolt in blasted limestone pulled in tension was stronger than a buried 8x8. But we'll get more into that later. By this point, you've probably seen us testing bolts in this mine in some other videos. It took 6 people 4 days to test 50 bolts, and what we learned out of it was pretty interesting. We tested Climbtech's removable bolts that I was curious why they were marketed to climbers. Are you kidding me? We also tested some bolts coming from Jordan, where the climbing community there was trying to make a more affordable, really good option. Oh, that's crazy, man. And as this Raumer bolt here has eye bolt vibes, we also tested forged eye bolts to see how good they were, and also because they were using these in Portugal. Oh, that is pretty cool.
It's spinning inside the carabiner. Oh, yeah.
And we also got to test titanium U-bolts, which later on we got to go to Krabi to test them there because that is where they are using them. Holy sh! And so now if you're curious about the mine, let's get a little history lesson from Steve.
Oh.
We're so cheesy.
The mine site that we're at was a mercury district. Started in 1923, went through the 40s. They were mining cinnabar, which is the red here, and they retorted it down to the mercury, the quicksilver. If you have a thermostat, you have a little mercury switch, is when it flops one way and then it'll go back and make contact to complete the circuit to turn your furnace on.
Now let's take a look at this bolt. So bad. What makes this bolt interesting and why do we care about the results? The shape of the bolt allows this to be 30 kilonewtons in any direction, up, down, or straight out. Sometimes when you're pulling a P-shaped bolt hard enough that it will make it, I guess, back into this shape, and then it's levered poorly and it can break quote unquote lower. Now deformation is an issue with bolts. It's not just when they finally break, but the shape you leave them in if you were to put too much force on. Now I do think this only applies to about 4 people in the world who are gonna put more than 4 kilonewtons on a bolt, especially in tension. Who does that? Well, I mean, you can put these in climbing in a roof, but if you put them in a cliff and you pull straight out to rig a big high line, there's some niche cases out there. And so it's nice to understand if this does well because it's welded, and welds can be a deep rabbit hole. The knurling on the shaft actually grabs the glue really well, and a lot of bolts don't always hold the glue well. Everyone's worried about the hole being dirty, but people need to be more worried about the fact that epoxy doesn't stick to stainless. Now in the mine, we squirted out some epoxy out of the nozzle before we stuck it into the back of the hole, squirting as we came out. That sounds really bad. In order to make sure that there was no air pockets. And you want to make sure it's on the side walls of the hole, but also on the bolt itself. And so we made sure we installed all of this correctly. And if you want to see more about that, I show it in every other video in this mine. Let's just get to the break-ins. So 38.45 kilonewtons, and then it took another 21 to finish pulling it out.
First half inch broke out on the side, then it allowed leverage.
This whole crack is new. Now this one, I don't think is compromised. That's still in a solid piece. Damn it. Oh, what? Oh, what? I'm filming with 2 phones right now. It's like Inception. Whoa.
That is the one from yesterday.
Oh, this is yesterday's bolt.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. This is like archaeology stuff, but like only a day after it happened. Oh gosh. This is a souvenir. 30 kilonewtons. It's the MBS of limestone.
I want this for my collection. That's my thought. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's the best slow-mo we've ever gotten.
Wow. Wow, that looks like a heartbeat and the rock died. Oh, wow, look at that crack. And it held.
So this is failed at less than MBS, but that was definitely a rock opening up, right?
Yeah, the bolt did not fail.
This is below what this is rated for, but this is still above the Ian standard, which I believe is 20 or 25.
Okay, so yesterday we cleaned all of the stuff up in the mine, and we came up over around the corner here where we're actually parked, about 50 meters away from the mine. Bobby dug a deadman anchor to hold down our hydraulic so we can pull in tension and get a lot more tension tests. That does test a lot more of the glue itself and the rock, putting it under the most stress. Typically bolts can do really well in tension because you're pulling on the whole bolt. Depends if it's engaged, if it can grab the rock, if the glue holds, all of that. There's so many components that the hanger holds. Yeah, it's gonna be bomber, dude. So yesterday, before we installed all those bolts, I wanted to make sure everything works because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And we put a Raumer bolt in haphazardly with some random glue yesterday, and we got it up to 50 something kilonewtons.
That's it, we're looking for the dead man.
We have a problem over here.
Dead man is not quite dead.
Yeah.
So you're cracking the hole, the anchor is pulling up through the ground. 3 feet wasn't long enough.
Yeah, it wasn't, we didn't have the width.
We should have gone at least 4 feet or 5 feet.
Yeah. And what's worse than digging a dead man anchor is digging it twice. So Steve found yet a larger, I think 8x8 board out here and chilling in the mines. Girth isn't all you need. Length really helps. What happened was the sides of this was only like this much on either side, actually holding the dirt walls here and here, because the trench has to be the width of the shovel. So now we're going to go all the way to the sides and the same depth in order to get more than 50 kilonewtons.
They're called dead man and not dead boy anchors.
We dug it for 2 hours and built it super bomber, and then we pulled out a bonier hanger at 50 something and another hanger or another bolt really high, so we know it holds. So last night we installed 12 or 15 bolts, and that's what we're gonna pull this morning. What a shit show. So the logistics of breaking bolts real quick is interesting. You have to establish the fact that you can. As you can see, that was a project. And then after you do that, you have to decide what you're going to test, and a lot of tests are determined by the last test. So if you're putting in wedge bolts and you're like, oh, it's wedging out the bolts really wide, then you know to spread them out further, or you know it's not working at all, so you don't waste more of that bolt and your time. But with glue-ins, you have to estimate everything you're going to do and need the day before in order to have your glue cured. So after we dug that deadman anchor, we installed a whole bunch of the bolts that we felt that we wanted to test. So we were able to get the information about these bolts. 62, and that rock did really well. Oh, the shaft is still in there.
Yeah.
It's double the MBS. It says 30.
That's not shear, that's tension.
That's tension in limestone.
50, 55, 60.
Jeez. I can't believe that soft shackle held. Yeah, the stud is still in the rock. The rock held, the glue held. I was afraid of my soft shackle.
50.
Wow, the rock held. It pulled out. The whole thing pulled out, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that knurl, it holds on pretty well. 55.65. Check out all these bolts. That would hurt. Now, when we tested the bolts in the mine, I didn't even have a climbing shop on my mind. That rhymed. But when I decided to start a climbing shop, I wanted to make sure we had a wide selection for bolts. Developers put a lot of their own time and oftentimes their own money into putting in stuff that we all enjoy. And I want to not only provide good information, which is what the Bolting Bible is intended for, but to offer more convenience, because all this stuff is kind of spread out all over the place. I don't personally know of any climbing shops that have a whole bunch of brands. Right now we have Titan, Lapas, Teblon, Team Tough, Fix, and Climbing Taiwan's amazing prices for their bargain hardware, which is honestly some pretty good stuff, especially for the price. So the international stuff that we bring in is expensive, and so we don't put a standard retail margin on them. It is more of a way to contribute to the climbing community. Just to re-emphasize what the mission of this whole project is for. We're trying to break gear fear. Not that you shouldn't have any gear respect, please have gear respect, but if you're afraid about the wrong things, you're not afraid about the right things, and that could be dangerous. I think these bolts are really good. I think it's really nice to know that they're really good, and it's nice to know what glue is good and what glue is not good, and you can find all that information in the Bolting Bible, which is free on our website at hownoto.com. Now, as the store grows and matures, I will be able to pull more talent and resources from running the store is a lot of work, from the store, and we will make the version 7 of the Bolting Bible, which is going to be way better than version 6. And when we get to version 10, we'll eventually print it. But it's not worth printing yet. I just want to keep chasing the rabbits and making sure that we answer all the questions that you guys might have about the stuff that you trust your life to. Thanks for watching, and please go grab some gear at hownoto.com.